We are right on the edge of a massive revolution in how we build software. It's a shift so big, people are calling it the third era of code. Today, we're going to unpack what that really means and do a deep dive into the tool that's kind of leading the charge, the brand new Cursor 3. So let's just kick things off with a pretty provocative question. Is the age of manually writing code over? Seriously. With the kind of AI-powered tools we're about to look at, the very definition of what a developer is, well, it's being rewritten right in front of us.
To really get where we're going, you have to understand where we've been. So, Era 1, that was all manual, right? Painstakingly editing files where tab completion was like the peak of high-tech. Then Era 2 came along, and we got these AI assistants, like Copilot giving us a hand. But now we are entering a totally new dimension. The third era, where developers are no longer just writing code, we're orchestrating whole fleets of autonomous AI agents. And that brings us right to the heart of this new era, the launch of Cursor 3. It's really being seen as this pivotal moment. It's a huge sign that we're moving way beyond the traditional code editor and into a completely new way of building software. So what does this actually mean for us, for developers? It's a fundamental change in our job. We're not the ones writing every single note in the symphony anymore. We're the conductors. We're orchestrating a team of AI agents who are doing all the heavy lifting. Our focus shifts to the big picture, to the grand design, not the nitty-gritty lines of code.
Okay, but how do you actually command an orchestra of AI agents? Well, that's where the orchestrator's cockpit comes into play. Let's take a look at this revolutionary new Agents window in Cursor 3, which is the interface that's making this whole new era of coding even possible. And look, this new interface isn't just some gimmick, it's a direct response to a massive shift in how developers are actually working. Cursor's internal data shows this stunning trend. Developers are now using these autonomous agents twice as much as they're using simple tab completion. That's a complete flip from just a year ago, and it's a huge signal that the way we code is fundamentally changing fast.
So the Agents window is basically your new command center. You've got your main space for orchestration, there's a design mode for visually telling the AI what UI elements to work on, and then there's this feature called worktree isolation. Think of it like a safe sandbox. It lets your AI agents go nuts, experiment, and even make mistakes without breaking your main codebase. And then you have Best of N, which is really cool. It basically makes multiple AI models compete against each other to find the absolute best solution to whatever problem you throw at it. This is what the source material calls the Kubernetes moment for software engineering, and that's a perfect analogy. Think about it. Just like Kubernetes changed server management from this manual, one-by-one process into a centralized, automated system, Cursor 3 is doing the exact same thing for writing code. We're going from digging into individual files to orchestrating an entire fleet of AI agents from one powerful control plane. But what's the engine that's actually powering these autonomous agents? How can they take on these really complex, long-running tasks without getting totally lost? Well, that's where the self-summarizing engine comes in. Let's look at the incredible tech that's making all this possible. So meet Composer 2. This is Anysphere's very first in-house AI model. And this isn't your average general-purpose AI. No, this is a highly specialized tool, built from the ground up and trained on billions of real-world coding interactions inside Cursor, all to master the art of agentic software engineering. And the results, they're really impressive. As you can see from these performance benchmarks, Composer 2 is an absolute powerhouse. It's operating at the frontier, right up there with the best of the best, across a whole range of difficult, real-world coding challenges. It's not just competing, in many cases, it's winning.
One of the biggest problems for AI agents is their limited memory, their context window. Just like a person, they can basically forget what they were doing if a task gets too long or too complicated. So Cursor's solution to this is brilliant. It's a trained behavior called self-summarization. The AI literally teaches itself to pause, take a breath, and summarize its own progress. This makes sure it never loses track of the bigger picture.
Here's how it works in practice. The agent just dives into a task, and it's knocking out hundreds of steps one after another. But once its action history gets too long, what the slide calls a token-length trigger, it automatically pauses. It condenses that whole history into a quick, concise summary. Then, with its memory totally refreshed and its focus restored, it just picks up right where it left off, ready for the next challenge. And the results of this are they're revolutionary. This self-summarization trick gives them a 5-fold,
That's 5x, efficiency gain over older methods. And it cuts down on errors by 50%. This is the breakthrough. This is what lets these AI agents take on these massive, complex jobs, like refactoring code across thousands of files, without even breaking a sweat.
But, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. This new era of coding isn't without its own set of challenges and pretty serious risks. So let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture and the really critical debate that's shaping the future of software development, that constant tension between speed and quality. And this right here is the core dilemma of this third era. On the one hand, you have the promise of a massive 3 to 5 times increase in development speed. I mean, that's huge. But on the other hand, there's a very real risk. That very same speed can lead to a mountain of technical debt and a codebase that becomes a total nightmare to maintain down the road.
Yeah, this incredible speed, it comes with a price. We're talking about things like review fatigue, that mental exhaustion that sets in when you're trying to validate these huge, complex changes that an AI just spat out. And then there's something called acceleration whiplash, which is this dangerous thing where moving too fast with AI actually leads to more bugs and lower quality software in the long run.
Of course, Cursor isn't the only player in this game, not by a long shot. The race to define the future of coding is really heating up. While Cursor is going all in on its visual agents window, you can see here, that competitors like Claude Code are betting on the good old terminal, and others like Windsurf and Tray are building on top of existing editors. And each one has its own unique spin on how to solve this problem.
But the ultimate vision for all of this, the end game, is a future of self-driving code bases where software can pretty much build and maintain itself. In that future, the developer's role is totally transformed from a hands-on coder to a high-level strategist, an architect, and most importantly, a guardian of quality.
And that really brings us to the final, ultimate question. In this new era of code, what does it even mean to be a developer anymore? Are we still the writers, carefully crafting every single line? Or are we evolving into something totally new, the architects of the very systems that will write the code of the future? The answer to that question? Well, it's going to define the next chapter for all of us. Thanks for tuning in.